Welcome, everybody, to this emergency useless information podcast. I am your host, Danny B, and my co-host is Richard. I call him Richard, you guys call him Dick, but normally we this is our bye week from each other. and we normally do these podcasts bi-weekly, and we do our own individual podcasts during that bye week. And due to the last 24 hours, we just decided to we text and talk to each other, and it's like, hey, do you want to talk about this? And we initially were going to do one individually for our own podcast, and then I think honestly, I think we decided that we were going to do it like individually, and then a couple hours later we're like, I was like, I don't think I can do this. Do you want to do it tomorrow? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it on my own. And I really think it's a good opportunity just to like talk it out with each other. And because it's some crazy shit that's been going on. And I think it's better if we just kind of do this together and kind of get through it together and then do it on our podcast platform.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, Charlie Kirk, influential right-wing activist, co-founder of Turning Point USA, was fatally shot yesterday, September 10th, I have it here it was Utah Valley campus in Orem. Orem, in Utah. And it really I think it just shocked the entire world, to be quite honest with you. And I think we just wanted to talk. I don't know. I mean, everybody heard about it. It's hard for me to talk about it, to be quite honest with you. It's and I want to get this out of the way real quick so no one ever takes this audio and then brings back one of my clips from my Instagram and says, well, you said fucking don't worry about you if it's not affecting you or your family and this and that. And I totally get that. I still stand by that. But the aftermath of all this could potentially affect me and my family and my close friends, because the extreme thinking that people are taking nowadays is far beyond something that this country nor any place in this planet needs to ever go through. And ultimately, nobody's opinion, you should never be punished to this degree. When I was at work at the time when it happened, and I got a pop up on my phone, and I looked it up, and instantly it just said, he was shot. And then I didn't look up any videos. I just saw it, and I was at work. I wasn't just going to start gawking over it and like, oh shit, it was just one of those, oh my God, I can't believe this. I can't believe this happened, to be quite honest with you. And, I had sent a screenshot and sent it to my wife, and she was like shocked. And by the time she had replied, it was like, it must've been like maybe 30 minutes or probably like 30 minutes to an hour later, maybe a little bit longer than that, when we got the confirmation that he didn't make it. I sent her the same thing because she was getting ready for work, and she just she called me and she was just bawling. And I don't want this podcast, at least on my end, to come over to sound like I didn't know the guy personally. And speaking for my household, there was a lot of things that we agreed with, and there's a lot of things that we disagreed with. And me personally, I'm not a religious man at all, but I don't belittle anybody or shame anyone for their religious beliefs. And the one thing, before I go any further into my feelings about this whole thing, is that the one thing that Charlie Kirk stood for, beyond his politics and all the controversial things that he talked about on campus, on stage, on podcasts, on shows, whatever the case may be, it was all rooted in his religious beliefs. And I think ultimately, when all this happened, my wife and I were just like, I kept telling her, because she just kept going down the list of like, why this, why that, this, and that, all the little controversial things he did say. She just started going down the list. I said, babe, he was just religious. It was all based off his religious beliefs. You know, if you really break it down, everything he believed in was all based around his religion, and somebody took his life for his beliefs, and their feelings overshadow somebody's life, and saying it out loud, it fucking broke this house. And even think 24 hours later, my wife and I are still like almost like in a state of shock still. Because if you don't follow Charlie Kirk, or if you do follow him and you know his content, if you really follow it, I didn't see, you don't see hateful messaging, um, hateful education on these campuses or wherever he's, featured. It seemed like a guy that was just passionate about his beliefs, and he was he was taken away from his family for his beliefs. And I don't want to take too much time on, like, at least with my feelings. I'll keep reiterating throughout this podcast about it, but that's really what the initial shock of what me and my family dealt with here. And like I said, I'm not a religious person, but I respect everybody's beliefs and what they believe in, as long as it's not harming me or forcing me to believe in something I don't believe in, And that was one thing about him, before I give the stage to you, was that he opened the floor for an open dialogue conversation. And you have to be a strong-willed individual to go up and stand up for what you believe in front of somebody that can possibly educate you on something you probably have not heard, or you have heard and you don't want to hear. But it was never hateful, and wasn't like, well, you're a fucking moron. It wasn't anything like that. It was always just, backed up by faith, belief, education, and that, dude.
So someone told me today, after I made a little post, they were like, well, you better mention these other people, and you better mention these other people who happen to be, their lives were taken in the same way, but they happen to be Democrats taken away by Trump supporters. They were in office. I don't remember their names, because it wasn't, for some reason, it wasn't something that was all over the place when it happened. And I feel for those people's families just as much, and I'm not going to take away from that. But the reason that everybody's taking this thing with Charlie Kirk so bad is because of the impact that he had. He had a huge impact on not just, people that were like-minded, but people that maybe disagreed with him on a lot of things. He was very based in faith, and a lot of people that threatens a lot of people. And he was all around, even if you didn't agree with him, he was just an all around good dude. And he spit facts. And people that didn't agree with him, they don't like to hear facts. All they care, they think with their feelings. It's that whole saying, facts don't care about your feelings. He did nothing but spit facts. And I agreed with him on a lot of things. And I don't care if I lose friends, stuff like that, because at the end of the day, I believe what I believe, and I love you for what you believe, and it's fine. You have the right to believe that. But if you're not going to want to be my friend because of it, because of what I believe, then that's what the problem is. That's the biggest problem. So when it comes to this hit everybody so hard because of the impact that Charlie Kirk has had on everybody. And I would sit there and watch his videos. I'd sit there on YouTube and just watch for hours and just love how he would just destroy people's arguments. I mean, he was a master debater. And I mean, I'm not trying to make a joke, but he definitely was a master debater, and he could shut anybody down with facts. And like you said, the main thing that I loved about him is that, and I'm not super religious, I have beliefs, but I love how strong he was in his faith. And I do believe that even if I wasn't raised in any kind of faith, I've had bad issues with it in the past from other people. But at the end of the day, I feel like it makes you a good person. Simple as that. It just makes you try to be a moral person. And he was someone who just was really always, like you said, based everything, all his beliefs and stuff, all his political beliefs, everything was kind of based in facts or in religion and facts. And it's a tragic loss. And what it shows the world is that someone could someone could die because of his opinions and because he thinks differently. That's where things have to change. It's like, yeah, if I don't agree with you and you don't agree with me, that's cool. Let's talk about it, but let's not be hateful about it. But it seems like everyone on the other side, and I say the other side, I don't consider myself right, left. I'm more in the middle. I'm like in the middle, like, you know, that's how I feel about everything. Like, I don't consider myself either way, but I feel like, yeah, at the same time, I am more right than left. So I
Well, you
guess I,
have more conservative. You
yeah,
have a lot of
yeah,
conservative feelings on
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Like, I am, even after this, like, I'm still pro 2A. Like, I still feel like we should be have the right to carry guns. And people are bringing up the thing about, like, he said something about, like, it was, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was like, hey, it's worth it to protect, gun violence is worth it to protect 2A, right? And I keep seeing people bring that up, and I'm like, okay, so I'm sure he would totally still agree with that, even though he was unalived with a gun. And that's my take on why it's hitting everybody so much harder than these other politicians that were unalived the same way, right? And they weren't like assassinated in front of 3,000 people, but they were unalived, right?
It
And
was 100. It was like 150,000 people that fucking saw that shit, dude.
yeah,
Like streamed and stuff.
yep,
So it was, it wasn't just the kids that were just seeing that
hmm,
fucking in real time.
yeah, yeah. And I've seen the video from multiple different angles, and I just sometimes I wish I just hadn't seen that. You know,
When
it's brutal.
I saw the long distance shot angle. I didn't want to say that word. I'm a fucking poor choice of words. Um, I saw the distant angle, and then somebody that I follow on Instagram posted the close up. And when I tell you, dude, like it like it hit me like it was a family member, because it's so graphic and so disgusting to see that, like you said, it's kind of something that I'd never wanted. I wish I never watched, or never witnessed with my own eyes. And then my wife didn't see it, and I happened to start scrolling through, and how my hallway comes right into my living room, and my back is facing her with my phone out, and she sees it while I'm scrolling, and she's like, "Was that it?" And I go look over my shoulder. I'm like, "Yeah." And then she was already crying, and she just lost it. And I hope none of you haven't seen it, are curious enough to see it. I know curiosity can kill the cat. I'm poor choice of words fucking today. I'm so sorry. But it's something that you really don't need to go look up. It's nothing to glorify. It's nothing to add more clicks to. It's a horrific event. You know, you were saying earlier that if I have to lose friends over this, then so be it. These are my beliefs. This has been in a complete eye opener, I think, to the American public, to me personally, because of the aftermath of people that I know on social media, and that are, some could be close at sometimes, saying some really despicable and celebratory things about this. It's not even a murder or a death. People are classifying this as an assassination.
100%. Yeah.
So it's not like your 6 o'clock fucking breaking news thing. word is assassination. It's a key word. It's a meaningful word. This guy wasn't going around spreading rhetoric and hate and shit, where it was cause for someone to be on a fucking roof, at a college. Here's another thing. Did we talk about how fucking crazy this person was to shoot around fucking children? Like, you fucking monster. What if something happened and you miss and you killed a kid? You know what? This is just, with the way of thinking because of our feelings. And then we are now seeing people post this stuff, especially like people that I've seen. I'm like, I got into it with somebody that I actually interviewed on a podcast at one point. And he had put some shit on his story that made me just like, oh my goodness. And I swear, people, I am doing my absolute best on this podcast to keep the pain and emotions out of it. So I really don't say anything negative, because at this point in life, we don't need any more fuel to the fire. And I think that's exactly what either side, honestly, can incite within seconds. And what I saw on social media was that ticking time bomb. Whether it was bots or real people, I was seeing horrible shit. But this guy in particular said some really crazy shit that I engaged with him. And I'm like, this is wild. I just said, like, this is wild. And he just started going on a tangent about he deserved this. If you're going around spewing all this rhetoric and hate, you should be speaking behind a glass. And then I screenshot his story. At the bottom, he's like, someone sent him to, another realm, like poof, bon voyage or whatever, some shit like that. And I screenshot that and I sent it to him and I go, so if somebody posted this about anybody in this entire world, you would be totally okay with it. And sure shit enough, he fucking squirmed around that fucking question and just started going off like, I feel bad for his family, but I don't feel bad for him because he's a bad guy. You don't need to feel bad for his fucking family. You have no idea what his role in life was. You don't need to feel bad for his family. I hate hearing that shit. I'm sympathetic for the family. No, you don't know anything about this fucking. If he was such a piece of shit person, why would you support a family that fucking supports such a horrible person? It's such an oxymoron to fucking everything that's going on in life. And you cannot have your cake and eat it too. That's not how life works. But this is 2025, and this is what this new generation expects.
But how is he a bad person?
Exactly. I've been going down videos, highlights, all this shit, even his most extreme videos. He does not go fucking out of pocket on shit.
I mean, they talk about, he doesn't like gays. That's not true at all. How he doesn't like trans people. He just says, you know what? I feel like it's a mental illness and it doesn't suit my religion. And he doesn't say anything bad about it. He said, I don't think it's based in reality. I don't think that it's not part of my religion, so I don't agree with it. And that's hateful somehow. And he also has said, like, you do what you want to do, but I don't want you to involve like children or anything like that. And I agree with that. Don't involve children in it. But if you're an adult and you want to do that, do what you want to do. I don't care. And I've said this many times, like, I don't care about any of that stuff, but don't involve children. And so that's hateful because, honestly, people think he says hateful things because they don't agree with what he has to say. It's simple as that. It's just because he says things against what they believe, because he's pro-life and he's anti-trans, they say, but he's not really anti. He just says it's not based in reality, which a lot of the conservatives say. And in a sense, it's true. It's not really based in reality, but I don't really give a shit. Do what you want to do. If it makes you happy, do it. I don't care. But that's where they're coming up with all this shit, is like, it's hateful because you don't agree with it. So the point is, okay, well, let's off the guy because you don't agree with what he has to say. And like you were talking about your friend that was posting all this, I got into it with like two different people today, just after that post that I made, just saying that we were going to talk about it. Well, like, why is this an emergency? With all these school shootings and all this other stuff, right? Well, no, this is the last straw. Okay, that's what it is like all this stuff has been pissing people off and pissing us off and like making us hurt about the world. These school shootings, these other things, it's like we've been hurting, and now someone who did not deserve this, just who he this happens to him, and all he does is have a different opinion. This is how he believes. It's okay to have your own opinion. It's okay to disagree. It doesn't mean you have to fight the person. It doesn't mean you have to assassinate him. He didn't deserve this. This was the last nail in their coffin because now we're done. People that believe about the way we believe, more
Dude,
conservative, it's it, dude. We're done.
the unknowing puns that we've been shooting in the last 5 minutes, please don't fucking be mad at us.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just
Yeah. It's
I
not intentional.
it's a I people, and I say this to try to make light of something super serious, because when I honestly, I had the studio set up. I made a post in the studio. I had everything ready to go. I was going to do this. And I was like, no, I need something to lighten up the mood. So I went and watched 22 minutes of the Chargers beating the Chiefs ass last Friday in Brazil. And it made me so happy. And then once I got back in the studio, I realized I can't do this. Like there's not,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to find that I'm trying to look at all the great accomplishments this guy did in his young 31 years of life, and it saddens me because I can't get past all the fucking negative backlash that all these people are saying. Even like coworkers today were saying stuff, and I didn't mention shit to nobody. I kept my mouth shut because what I was doing, R&D. I was doing R&D. I was figuring out what conversations can fucking go to a certain point from here on out. And I found out real quick. And it was kind of disgusting in a sense, because you know what? A lot of these people at work were also like advocating for like BLM and the riots in LA for the deportation, the ICE riots and shit like that. And like I didn't like I said, I'm going to reiterate this again. I'm not trying to spew hate on this, but it was so hard for me not to say who is it going to take for you guys to understand how majority of the world feels about this situation right now. You know, I don't want to put names out there. I don't advocate for violence. You know, I feel that for someone to use a firearm, you need to use it in self-defense only. That's really how I look at it. There's nothing else around it. I can't, please, people, educate both of us. What else do you use a gun for? If you're saying like you use a gun to go out and shoot and fucking have fun, well, you're the fucking first person that doesn't deserve a gun. You're the first fucking person. And I think around all this crazy drama, people try to bring up like gun control and shit. This only makes people that were a fan and advocate for Charlie Kirk more more pro gun. And I have the quote right here that everybody's been posting online, to kind of like poke at Charlie Kirk, saying like pretty much insinuating that he deserved this. Like he was like willing this out in this quote on gun violence. I think it is worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Yeah. And what they're turning it into, oh, it's worth the deaths to keep 2A. They're changing it. They're taking things out of it to make it sound worse. And that's what they do. They take things out of context, like with the whole Trump thing saying that they were very fine people. Like they didn't look at the whole thing. They just took what they wanted out of it. And that's what they do. They want to take what they want out of it and use that against, right? And it's exactly what they did with that quote. It's basically what he's saying is that people are defending themselves. So there's gun violence, so people need to defend themselves, you know, because here's my deal with gun rights. You can try, like, if you take away all the guns, right? You can make all the guns illegal. Okay, it's illegal to own a gun. You can't have a gun. Does that mean all the guns are going to be gone? Think about that. No,
No.
because yeah,
You'd be a complete fool to think so.
Right. And what would happen is the only people that would have guns are cops, military, and criminals. And the honest people would not have guns anymore. Because think about it like this, like they made drugs illegal. Think about that. There's no more drugs, right? See what I'm saying? Like drugs are still there. They made them illegal and drugs are still there. What we have is a mental health problem. We need to
Well,
work
and they
on
only
that.
ramped up, and they've only
Yeah.
ramped up people.
Yeah. They've gotten worse. And that's the thing. It's like you're not gonna stop people from having guns by banning guns. And that's what everybody's trying to do is say, look, even Charlie Kirk is a victim of gun violence who was pro 2A. They're going to use that. Well, even him, no, we have the Second Amendment for a reason, and you can't make guns illegal because, like I said, then only the bad guys are going to have guns, and how's that going to work out?
So let me ask this question, and to you too. When it comes down to this quote, do these people feel that every person that believed everything Charlie Kirk said and was for this quote right here deserves the same treatment as he received yesterday? Is that the way we are thinking? Or no, but you guys aren't going around in campuses and saying that stuff. But those people that he talks to, what if those maybe 3,000 people that were there, maybe 500 of them go home feeling the same way he does? So do they deserve that treatment?
Yeah, and that's the whole point of his tours it's not to change people's minds, but to make people think.
People think.
Yeah, say, hey, look, this is how I believe. Like, come debate me. Let me show you that this is the truth, and you don't understand it. Because a lot of these kids, he goes to like predominantly liberal, like UVU is predominantly, even though it's in Utah, it's a liberal campus, and there's a lot of liberal kids that go there because it's not BYU. They can't get into BYU because they're not religious, and so they go to UVU. I actually got into UVU. I was going to go there, but I ended up not going. But anyway, it's a predominantly liberal campus, and that's why he goes there. He goes to these places, and he says, a lot of these kids are brand new voters, and he wants to talk to them about this. They say, why do you talk to kids, and why do you debate kids? It's because these kids are brand new voters. These kids can vote, and he's trying to teach them something. So, and maybe they're going to these colleges and they're learning these liberal things, and he's trying to show them that, hey, maybe that's not the right way to think about things. Maybe that's not the truth. Maybe he's trying to change some minds. It is what, that's what his goal was, is to just teach people, show people the truth, and spread faith as well. And because he would quote the Bible in everything. He would say, this Bible verse means this. And that was his message. And that's why it was so impactful, because he did impact so many people. There's so many people. I mean, he came from starting at like 17 years old in high school to being 31 years old and having one of the biggest platforms in the world. That's why it's important. That's why it's impactful. And that's why it's not, I'm not calling it more important than these other things that happen, but it's why it was more impactful and why more people are hurt by it.
Well, it's just, I mean, besides what he's done in this world, you're seeing it in the backlash. My mind's going a million miles a minute right now, and I have something on my mind, and then I forget, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I have audio clips, and like deer in headlights, squirrel.
Do it.
That's what it is squirrel. Right now. But Charlie Sheen was on the Joe Rogan podcast that just aired today on the 11th. We're recording this on September 11th. And he was he had that meeting today or yesterday. He was having that live interview, and once they found out that he had passed away, I want you guys to listen to the first fucking thing that comes out of Rogan's mouth. And I look at this man as an educated person and is neutral across the board and is an open conversator, because I'm not going to say what he said. A master, whatever the fuck you said, shame on you.
It was an accident.
But I get what you say. I totally got it.
I
But
know.
I want you
I
guys to
saw the
the
look on your
first.
face after I said it.
Yeah,
You're like,
I had my
oh, he just said that, didn't
I
he?
had my mic muted.
Okay, yeah, but
But
yeah.
first thing he says, and really, literally once they found out, this is what he says. Oh, whoops, maybe I have everything muted because I don't want you guys in the background. All right, here we go.
No, that is that's a wow.
There's going to be a lot of people celebrating this. It's so scary. It's so dangerous too to celebrate or to in any way encourage this kind of behavior from human beings. He's not a violent guy who's talking to people on college campuses. Wasn't even particularly rude. He was tried to be pretty reasonable with people.
Everything I saw seemed reasonable.
He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
You know, whether you agree with him or don't. And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with him on. That's fine. You're allowed to disagree with people without celebrating the fact they got shot.
But you can't disrespect his passion.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
what you're supposed to do with a guy like that, if you're opposing him, is debate him.
Right.
Have a conversation where your argument is more compelling than his.
Sure.
What a fucking concept! Is that crazy? The first thing he says is like, there's gonna be celebration.
Yeah.
How wild that we as a society instantly think that humanity is that fucking low that that would be the first thing you would fucking say instead of like, well, you would hope there would be like a 9/11 type situation where people would kind of join together, but it definitely wasn't. You saw the complete opposite, you know, and it was like, it was more negative than positive, and it blew me away. And within like an hour or two after his passing, maybe 3 hours afterwards, it was hard to find articles and stuff on my social media, on my fucking phone and stuff like that. It's like, they just went to the next thing, and it sickened me, because if it was fucking somebody on the left, this would be the fucking thing that you would see splattered all over your page and everywhere you would see for fucking a week straight.
Yeah. I saw something that this was kind of hard to believe. This lady was talking about, she's like a principal in a school, and it's an elementary school. And she said that she was in a classroom when this happened, watching the teacher. She was just observing. And the teacher got a notification and then told the students, I want to say they were in like 5th grade or something like that, told the students what had happened. And a bunch of the students started cheering. And how old are you in 5th grade? Like 11? 12?
Like, yeah. Could you get into high school at 14?
Yeah, so maybe you're like, what?
10?
10? And these kids were like cheering. And the teacher was like, well, sometimes bad things happen to bad people. And that's what the teacher said to these 5th grade students. And so I guess she said something about the principal said something she's had problems with the teacher having her political views in the classroom, stuff like that. And she's probably going to get reprimanded or something's going to happen. But I was like, really? And these kids are cheering someone who has a family, stuff like that. Like, it's just ridiculous, the way the world is, the way the country is, the way everybody's divided, and how you can wish death on somebody.
It's weird to me who people champion these days. It, like, really, people look it up. Who have we fucking burned cities down for in the last 10 years? You don't see people fucking burning the fucking city down in Utah because of this guy. People are mourning. People are doing emergency podcasts. People are posting as much as they can about this, about their feelings and how much it affected them. They're not burning down fucking people's hard-earned businesses and shit like that, or robbing people or hurting people in a time of grief. It's not happening right now. Go look outside. Nothing's fucking changed, has it? But you sick people out there have the right and have the First Amendment right to go say whatever you want. But God, oh good heaven, the shit that you're saying that this guy is spewing, you guys are doing it fucking immediately after his passing. Cowards.
Yeah.
Cowards. You hide behind these people with their agendas, hide behind these bots and these easily brainwashed fucking weak-minded individuals to spew their bullshit, and this shit happens. People, there's so many lines of accessibility to talk if you are that depressed, if your feelings are taking you over that much. There's so many outlets to talk to besides trying to find somebody in your personal circle that you feel that you're not comfortable talking to. It's shameful that it has to get to this point, that violence to this nature has to get to this point. And I don't mean to bring up us growing up, but gosh, whoever thought about just fucking someone up with their fist, man? Like, hey, let's do this at the park. How many times did we hear that, dude, in our whole life? We'll do it at the park.
Mm-hmm.
No, you got to stay on a fucking rooftop and be a fucking coward because you can't confront. Or maybe you did confront him and talked to him at one point, debated him, probably got chewed up, didn't like it, and then you've been plotting this shit the entire time. Who fucking knows? We don't even have a suspect in custody. You want to talk about how fucking wild it was, that how narrow President Trump avoided losing his life? And people were celebrating that. There was a post that someone said, I wish this same person would have been the one that shot Trump. This is fucking wild that people would even comment this type of shit. You are celebrating the same shit that you were spewing out on social media. And we can spend as much time as we want recording and shitting on all these people individually if we really wanted to. But me personally, this is a time of reflection and a time to fix and mourn and fix one another. We need humanity to get back to a fucking balance of like, hey, or even to a moral balance where it's like, hey, you know what? Killing's not a good thing. You really shouldn't do it. You know, when we start thinking like, hey, like with a little bit more sanity, which that's what it all derives with all these crazy events going on right now, is people being questioned about their sanity. And it's like, hey, ultimately, back in the day, if people were forcing their beliefs upon you, they were either fucking attacked, or something else, It's like, we're not living fucking 500, 600, 700 years ago. We're not fucking doing that. People, come on. We're in 2025. We have people that went live a year ago and pretended to be a non-playable character live and started doing fucking funny sounds when people gave them gifts. We live in a weird fucking age where we have to accept people's feelings over basic biology, and basic fucking common sense. Here's the thing, science. And it's not like this man, Charlie Kirk, was trying to be hateful. It's like, when you really think about it, most of his arguments, like even with the transgender thing and stuff like that, if you really just want to go down to the fucking nitty gritty of it, ask somebody who is that passionate about it. Is like, when you pass away and you are down to bones and someone dug you up and tested you, what is the results going to pop up as? Not your feelings, what you were born as, people. And it's not like you have to be mean about it. And I feel that a lot of these acts that are being taken upon others is so blown out of proportion of people's feelings. It's like, I'm being attacked and I'm being bullied. Are you really? Or you're just not happy that people aren't accepting your fucking, your rainbow hair color, your fucking bullpen, in your nose, and fucking whatever the case may be. You can do whatever you want, which is totally fine. You are your own person. You can express yourself whatever you want. But you start forcing your ideology onto people and expect them to accept it, and there's no fucking wiggle room, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything I'm saying out loud, people, if you ever question things, say it out loud. Honestly, saying things out loud will make you realize if it's fucking dumb saying it out loud, or it makes sense. And there's a lot of things that Charlie Kirk said that bothered people, but when you really just take away how he presented himself, which was very professional 99.9% of the time, I mean, I wish I can speak the way he did. Just 50% of my life, I'd be happy, you know? But I feel like I'm going on a tangent, dude, and I'm so sorry right now.
It's okay. I like your tangents because they're actually really good.
You know, look, when he talked about like the border, it's like, does it make sense, people? Do you just let anybody into your fucking house just off the street? Like, hey, just come in. It's really, if you break it down that simplistic, that's really how easy it is. There has to be a control. There has to be, first off, we've talked about this before. There just has to be a better process into immigration, you know, to get into this country. There really should be. No one should have to wait fucking 20 years to get paperwork. They shouldn't. They really shouldn't, you know. There should be a qualification and a guideline to get in. Simple as that. You know, if you do have a criminal background, why on earth would you let anybody into your country? Why would you let anybody that has, if some stranger came up to your house, knocked on the door and gave you the fucking criminal paperwork and say, hey, let me in. I would like to chill for a couple days or maybe a couple years or for the rest of my life. Please. Are you gonna be like, yeah, no problem. You deserve a fair shot in my home. No problem. Have whatever you want. At this point, you're getting more benefits than I am. You know? So when you break that down, it's really simplistic. You got to just better process, secure the border. It's simple as that.
Yeah, and I always
You
say
know,
like, why do we lock our doors? Is it to keep people we know that are nice, that we know are good out? No, we lock our doors so someone doesn't break in and steal our shit, and that's why we should have a border. And that's what he would say. I mean, I kind of almost got that quote word for word from what Charlie Kirk would say. And to me, when he says that, I'm like, that makes sense. You know, it's
well,
just like
makes complete sense.
I understand. Like I hear things, I believe things because they make sense, not because I just believe only what people on the right say. I believe things that make sense. If it makes sense to me, that's the way. Like when it comes to like the border, like you said, that shit just makes sense. We don't want all the bad things coming in, but again, they're thinking with feelings. Like, oh, these people are coming from their country. And yeah, you're only thinking about the good people that are coming over, which there's a lot of good people that are coming over to flee a country that doesn't care about them, doesn't take care of them. Those people are good. But that's not the only people that are coming over. That's what you don't realize is there's a lot of things and people coming over, human trafficking, drugs, a lot of different things coming over that aren't good. It's just like if you knew your mom was coming over, you're going to unlock the door for her, right? And that's cool. But you're not going to go on vacation and leave your door unlocked because someone's going to come and break into your shit. So that makes sense to me. And those are the kind of things that I agree with when it comes to Charlie Kirk, where like as other people will not believe things that he says or call it hate because they're just thinking with feelings. They're thinking with supposed compassion, but then when they don't agree with you, you're a piece of shit and they want to fight you. You can't debate, so they use violence. Because they can't debate because they never win. Because they can't hear facts. They don't understand facts. They don't understand science. They don't understand. So like when I say a man can't be a woman because you are born a man, but you can go ahead and say you're a woman, but you're not. That's just science. That's just facts. But do what you want to do. I don't care. I don't care about it. That's the thing that's the way I feel about it, where someone like Charlie Kirk would keep going on. Like, I do care about it. I do really not want you to do this because you have a mental illness and it affects me. I'm the kind of person that goes like, look, I can tell. I know you're not a woman. So to say you're the same as a woman, that's not true. But that's okay if you want to put on that act, if you want to call it. That's okay if you want to do that. I don't care. You do you. You do you, whatever makes you happy. Then that's fine.
It's really that simple too. It's so simplistic. It's so easy. And you know, your beliefs and your feelings are two different things, people. And I think that's hard for people to understand. And when your feelings override morals, that's a problem too. Because then if you're talking about censorship, we're in a state where people are trying to censor. Like, I'm not trying to say, hey, all these people that are spewing all this fucking hateful shit, You know, I'm not saying cancel all these people. They should be, I'm going to report all these people and blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing all that. Say whatever you want. It just proves to me like, hey, these are all the people I don't want to fucking associate with. I don't want no, I mean, I feel bad for people that are friends with them. I really feel bad for the group of people that have to see this and they're like, fuck, I can't believe this person is saying this right now. Like how I was about that one dude. You know what? Uh, I'll be honest. He's a coach, and me and my wife were like, I can't believe this guy fucking teaches kids any type of discipline. You're saying, hey, any discipline I've taught you, when your feelings fucking override anything, put down the fucking fist and go get a gun. That's what this guy was fucking pretty much advocating. It's like, if it's like, well, no, like I said, you're not going around the campuses and talking to thousands of people. It doesn't take thousands of people and all this type of tour and shit like that to take one crazy person over the limit. I can say something to a coworker, be like, you know what? That's why your fucking wife left you, huh? And that could just fucking be like, that's it. It's like,
Let's go
you
outside.
just like, yeah. Or like he can come back to work the next day and then fucking, there you go. And then I'm gone. You just don't know. You just don't know what's going on in someone's head. You just truly don't know. And you don't know what's going to be what triggers a person. I don't know if we've talked about this on a show or maybe just personally, but thank goodness I've never found, what would ever be a trigger moment for me. And thank goodness, my close friends and you have never got to that point, but it's scary that somebody, this guy didn't take his own life. He shot Charlie and fucking left and fled, you know, it's like, it's almost like, I obviously he planned it, and this is what his goal was, achieved and gone. It wasn't like the fucking stupid ass kid in Colorado that fucking shot at kids and then took his own life.
Coward. Yeah.
It's a fucking coward move. And, when I was talking to my wife about that fucking coach, because I ended up messaging him and kind of ended him like, you know what? This isn't a healthy relationship. I know you through a friend that I went to high school with, to actually middle school with, all the way up until high school and graduated with. And she was a really cool person and she married this guy. And, and I feel bad for her because she's a fucking sweetheart of a person. But I mean, if she has any type of feelings the same way this guy does, it's just like, holy fuck, that maybe I just didn't know the people that I thought I did. And I'm not putting myself on a fucking platform like I'm better than anybody else. I'm not. I'm definitely not fucking doing that at all. Whatever your feelings are great. But honestly, if you were my family member or you or anybody posted the fucking wild shit that this guy did, I would fucking question you. I said that to my wife. I said, babe, if you ever posted some shit like this, I would literally fucking call you or whatever, come home and have to sit down with you and say, I have to question this relationship. I truly need to question who am I with right now and who am I going to fucking spend the rest of my life with? Because whoever says this shit and posts it live is fucking absolutely out of their mind. To celebrate any type of death besides like a fucking dictator that's killing his own fucking people, that's the only type of celebration, honestly, you should really give to this world, is somebody that is taking others' lives on a fucking large scale. Now you're telling me that Charlie Kirk, with his words, have hurt thousands and thousands of people across the United States? Go fuck yourself in your feelings.
Exactly. It's like he just has ideas and he has opinions. It's like the sticks and stones. Words aren't going to hurt. Words shouldn't hurt. And that's why, like, when I see, and I'm not talking about the
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me. That's what we grew up with.
We grew up, yeah. And that's the way I feel about things. It's like, I've always felt this way. You can say whatever the fuck you want about me. It's just words, words don't hurt. And that's the difference between, like, they're comparing him to like someone like Hitler who killed millions of people. He just has an opinion and words. He's not Hitler. He's not someone that evil, right? He's not Stalin. He's not Osama bin Laden, right? He's not someone like that. just because he has opinions. He goes out and voices his opinions and debates with people and talks to people, and he has different opinions than someone else. He didn't deserve to die. That's why, like I say, look, if someone hears I don't really post anything political anymore. I used to a lot, and I lost friends. I just stopped doing it because I was just kind of sick of losing friends. And now I don't comment on anybody's shit.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, dude,
But it's true. Like
it's
it's true. I was just sick of losing friends, and I was like, I would
that's
basically
tough, dude, because like I hate to interrupt you, but it's so tough to hear that because I feel like you shouldn't have to do that.
No, you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to. I think that
I
if you
shouldn't
don't
have
agree
to
with
fucking
me,
do that to that dude. Like, I'm sorry, I
yeah,
hate to cut off, but
come
I ended
on.
up fucking, I ended up, well, I ended up blocking that dude because I'm like, this isn't a healthy relationship. Like I said, I don't know you. Like, I know you through your wife, and
Yeah,
this isn't going to be a positive. There isn't going to be a positive outcome to this conversation. And since I don't know you, and this isn't a relationship it's worth saving, I'm not going to keep going on with this.
yeah.
And I just stopped at that.
People like that you kind of know through another person or just acquaintances or former work colleagues that are doing this. What bothers me is when you've known someone for 30 plus years and they come at you, right? Because of your opinions. And during that time, during like when everything was politics, which it kind of still is, but it got really bad for a while. I lost friends.
The first Trump election.
Yeah, the first Trump
Yeah.
election, and then moving right into like COVID and stuff like that. It was just really, it was really divided, and I was
Well, oh fuck me for my opinion.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, hey, I went towards one side, and I realized that was when I realized that, hey, maybe I always thought, hey, I'm punk rock, I'm a Democrat, and I started realizing, no, I don't agree with any of this shit. I'm pro life. I'll admit it. I'm very pro life. I'm very like pro 2A, like all the conservative talking points. I'm more like Joe Rogan, where I'm kind of in the middle, but like I am pro America. I'm pro like I want things to go back to the way they were with our founding fathers. I don't want to own slaves. That's stupid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like the what our country was founded on. And because if you say something like that, they're like, oh, well, George Washington was a slave owner, and that's your feelings. Okay, well, so was everybody else. And then we ended it the right way, the way we were supposed to end it. We fought a war, and hundreds of thousands of people died for that cause, right? To end that shit. And there's still slavery going on right now, okay? Right now, there's still slaves, but nobody talks about that. But my point is, I want to go back to where we were a conservative country, basically, where we were a pro-America, where our country meant something because we fought a war to gain this country. And now everybody's so divided, and everybody's like, fuck America and all this stuff. It's like, I just want us to have our rights and do what we want to do. And if you disagree with me, then that's cool. That's fine. We can talk about it. If we disagree, we agree to disagree, and we walk on as friends. But some people can't handle that because their feelings get in the way, and they're very emotional, and they're like, fuck you for feeling that way. And then they start going off about this and going off about that. And it's like, I have an opinion, and I'm not going to waver from my opinion. I'm not going to believe what you believe just because I've known you for 30 years. So you know what? You can have your opinion. I'll have my opinion, and we can still be friends. But when people start coming at me, getting hurtful and saying I'm an idiot and saying I'm killing people, it's like, and that's what they were talking about him. Oh, your ideas are actually killing people.
Like what proof in the pudding? Like give us proof.
How, what? It's like, no, they're just his ideas, his opinions, the way he thinks about things based on religion and based on facts, based on science. What's wrong with that? What are yours based on? They're based on feelings, not facts.
I was talking to my wife about this morning, and I kind of just like broke down in tears because, we're kind of going through something, with somebody close to us. And it's in a kind of a situation where it's like feelings have overridden facts and common sense and shit. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, I can't believe that I have to even go through this with this person. None of this shit makes sense. when you bring up all the fucking facts and bullet points, still it goes in one ear and out the other. And this is how much feelings have overridden common sense and morals and basic common decency for one another. And it's shame. And I think that what hurts me the most is I have to see all this shit in real time. And like, this is the world I brought kids into, the world I'm living in right now that I feel yesterday, I felt like I was completely lost. And I'm like, I don't even know what I can do to even help contribute to the change of this world. But thankfully I have you in my life, and we decided to do this podcast today. And this is how I feel that I personally is going to help this situation, and hopefully in both ways, because I hope people that listen to this, whether you like Charlie Kirk or not, will kind of have a better understanding of how we feel about it, whether you are a pro his feelings or a pro religion and stuff like that. And, you got kind of like both of it here. And we've been on this podcast right now for about an hour, and I can pretty much guarantee that we have not said anything hateful towards anybody that have been, besides calling like crazy and stuff like that, and like, this is fucking wild, and you probably like maybe a maniac was thrown in there at one point. I don't know, but nothing like to entice like violence or cause for uproar or rioting. This is a time for all of us to really, like I said before, just to come together. Let's just see what this guy really did, and just it was. It's wild, dude. I used to watch like really fucked up shit, like executions and stuff like that with my brother back in the early 2000s, and it didn't faze me. But I was so desensitized at a young 20 years old that I didn't think about like, this is somebody that's being taken away from a family member. This is a fucking human life. And and now that I'm 20 years older and stuff like that, and I see this stuff, like I'm sensitive. I think once you have kids, whether you're a male or female, you become super sensitive compared to how you were growing up. Like, it hits you differently. Things hit you way differently. I never thought I would cry to K-pop Demon Hunter, and I do it every time. But it's like, I think when anybody that saw that video yesterday, when they saw it, they were just like really just in complete shock. Like, oh my gosh, this is how far it has been taken. It's shameful. And it sickens me the way I have to talk about a good person losing their life. I have to talk about kids we have to talk about kids' safety to go to fucking school to get an education. How crazy is this? Here's the thing. When we were growing up, only thing we had to worry about was like getting fucked up in school by gang members or like a rival person that didn't like you and shit like that. And guess what? Our parents knew about it. And guess what? We still had to get that education. You know what? Now, why would I ever want to send my kid to fucking school? Thank goodness this is her last year. This is her senior year of school, because I feel bad for anybody else that has kids going into school right now, because I would be terrified. Like, why the fuck would I want to send my kid to school when I hear teachers celebrating this dude's death, the potential of people bringing guns to school, wacky fucking indoctrinations where crazy lunatics can fucking go to school. A 16-year-old can go and feel that it's okay to unleash so much harm upon somebody else because of their feelings. A 16-year-old, what were you doing at 16 years old, people? Guess what? I was just learning how to masturbate properly.
I still don't know how.
Dude, no, if you got the stranger down, dude, you're the master.
Yes.
And some people grip the fucking shit out of their wrist and let it get numb. I fucking sit on it a little bit.
There you go.
So
use a rubber band.
Oh, look at you. Is it a thick rubber band, like those really thick ones that should have like lettering on it?
Yeah.
Oh,
double knot it.
You fucking sinner.
Shit.
You
I'm a
sinner.
sinner. I'm a sinner.
But we have to worry about like our kids, you know. We have to worry about fucking going on a bus to go from point A to point B. You're letting 14 fucking criminal cases, background individuals on the street and thinking that, oh, it's okay. You'd figure after the fucking seventh fucking case, you'd be like, you know what? This guy's a problem.
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking problem.
He's out again, and
You know, his family says that he's a schizophrenic and shit like that. And he says that there was materials in his body that, that made him kill this Ukrainian woman, I, Irna, IrYna, Zarutska, who fled a shitty fucking country to come to the greatest country and fucking get stabbed by a fucking crazy person that was given 14 opportunities to be a good person. 14 fucking thing. If you were a parent in school and your kid came home and said, hey, you know, they let fucking Matthew back into school again. Like, really? Didn't he just beat the shit out of somebody? Like, this is like the like 10th kid he beat up. Why is he back in school?
yeah, let him.
Like,
Let him
should he?
in. Sure. Let him
Yeah,
come
no.
in.
Well, you know, he needs an education. We need to give him a
Yeah,
second chance.
he's
Well,
fine.
here's his 10th try.
Yeah, he's
You know,
fine.
there's
He'll be
more.
okay.
Guess what? After his fifth one, he probably has a tendency of wanting to do this more and more. And after the 10th one, it's a guarantee it's going to happen again. It's like,
Yeah,
come on. What the fuck, people? Like, what? Am I talking crazy out loud? Like, people, please, like, don't follow me, unfollow me, unsubscribe. If I sound like a crazy person that I'm talking about on social media right now, please let me know. Because unlike these fucking assholes around the world, now I'm saying something bad. Now I'm getting heated. Sorry. I can take constructive criticism. You know, I can take anybody's jabs because you know what? Ultimately, none of these fucking people pay my bills. And then if my wife said some fucked up shit, I would go on a drive and cry in the car. So that's really it. But besides that, it's like, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. You're not paying my bills. I'm not surviving on your opinion, but other people are. And it's fucking sad. We need help. We need more programs. We need more commercials. Throw it on whatever you're on, any device you're on, whatever computer on, whatever TV you're on, talking about who you being an anonymous person just to talk to somebody. We shouldn't have to pay for therapy because at this point, at this rate, we fucking need all the help we need. These people need to be talked to. Like, what is going on in your head that make you feel this rage? Because I can tell you this right now, dude. No one has, even with all the crazy and wild and fucked up shit I've been through my entire life, like involving my kids, family, and shit like that. It has never gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? I need to arm myself and take retaliation. Never, never once have I ever thought about that. Ever once have I thought that, man, if this person was standing in front of me and they wanted to fight, it would be lights out. You know? But that's like, I mean, and like, I'm not even telling you guys to go do that, but like, that's how sometimes I feel. But I haven't gotten into a fight since I was 12 years old. I've used my mouth and my words to talk to people and debate on fucking conflicts and arguments. What a crazy concept that is, people. Would you want the fucking presidential election to be fucking dealt with fucking firearms? It's like, like this debating shit is pointless. We should just go straight to fucking dueling each other.
Yeah.
It's
Let's go
like,
back to the old days.
Yeah, it's like, let's go back to the Aaron Burr days and shit
Yeah.
like that, dude. And the
Yeah.
crowd is just eating fucking bowls of peanut butter. And like, oh my God, Aaron Burr. You fuckers that don't know what we're thinking. Dude, we're bringing nostalgia even in a tragic moment.
Yeah.
It's like, God
Well,
damn it.
you know, on all that you're saying, man, it's like, all in all, like, just killing somebody is not okay. Taking somebody's life, whether it's in war, whether it's anywhere, taking someone's life is not okay. And we need mental health help besides, like you said, just going and paying for therapy that doesn't work. You know, we need these people that are homeless, these people that are on drugs, these people, they don't need to be criminalized. They need to be They need to be helped. You know, we need to have this money put into that's these billions of dollars that are put into homelessness. Let's help these people get off drugs. Let's help these people, you know, open up asylums again so these people can get some help, or at least they're somewhere safe and they're somewhere where they can, you know, be with other people that are mentally ill, right? I mean, it's crazy how like we didn't have as much of a mental health problem like this when the asylums were open, and then they closed them, and all of a sudden the numbers just increased because now they're out in the street, they're out roaming, and you know what they say? Oh, they'll just give them drugs. We'll just give them drugs. That'll help. You know,
Yeah,
no,
they'll
these
just look
people
like
need
fucking
help.
zombies out in the street, you
Yeah,
know?
and they're taking most of the time they're taking drugs because of their mental health.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why they're hooked on all these drugs because they're mentally not okay. So we need to get them the help that they need. And instead, we decided to criminalize a lot of the things that they're doing, and like the drugs, like we decided to criminalize a lot of things, and now they're just thrown in prisons, and then they're let out, and then they do the same things again, and then they're let out. They're not getting any help. They're not getting help. They're just getting locked up. And like the guy you mentioned, like he just got locked up and then got out and got locked up, and then he finally went too far. He has a mental problem that needs help, and that's the problem. That's the crisis we have, is a mental health problem. We need to
Oh,
do something about it.
did somebody get offended one day like, oh, this asylum, this crazy asylum, this is offensive because these people need
Probably.
help, and maybe we should just let them on the street and socialize with other crazy fucking people and see if
Yeah,
they can adapt to civilization. Smart.
yeah,
Makes
that's so
sense. Let's
smart. So fucking yeah, that's smart. And now you wonder why there's a problem, why there's a crisis in the world of like you said, mass shootings and this all like it's just everybody's mentally fucked up, and some
if there's
people their
rem
brain can't handle it, and they you know like me and you, we've had a lot of problems in our lives, but we're mentally capable of dealing with it. We didn't go crazy. We have our fucking problems, we have our issues, but we're not like that. We're not going to go and shoot up a school like you said. Like we're not that person. But there's people that can't handle that it's too, their brain is too far gone. They need mental help. They don't, you know, and banning guns isn't going to stop it. They need
no.
the mental help. That's the only thing that's going to fix it. That's the only thing that's going to help. I'm losing light.
And so, oh shit.
Hang on.
uh there we go. I was like, what the fuck's going on with your lighting, dude?
Because my lighting is the window.
Oh, okay.
And the sun's going down. The sun is my lighting.
That's fucking awesome.
So, sorry. I was like, I'm starting to be in the dark here. Like, I should probably turn the lights on. Sorry.
But ultimately, I mean, there's shit. I'm going to say something pretty fucked up right now, but like, there's ramifications for everything in life, you know, and you know, with the celebration of what just happened, you know, I want to give one example of the fuck around, find out situation, you know, and whether you have an opinion or not, people, if you're in a fucking work environment, you're in a work environment where you are paid by a company that does not have to accept that shit, you know? So this is from Fox News about an MSNBC news anchor that had comments about Charlie Kirk. And let's just go over let me just let you guys listen to what happened.
That's right, Tracy. Yeah, we're hearing that this political contributor, Matthew Dode, got fired. And unfortunately, some on the left in the media, they've made some controversial comments following Charlie Kirk's political assassination. Take a listen.
After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. You can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech.
Okay, so that's what he said. And I just want... So if you guys don't know, if you don't know what divisive means, it is tending to cause disagreement or hostility between people. So now whenever you have an opposing opinion towards somebody, now you are a divisive person.
Right. Because you can't have your own opinion. You can't, if you don't just agree and say, hey, oh yeah, I agree with you. Even if you don't lie about it, then, you voice your opinion, then you're divisive.
I do want to give MSNBC the credit that they did comment on this, and I just want them to get their shine on this as well.
Yeah, so that comment got him in some pretty big trouble. MSNBC quickly addressed how inappropriate it was, writing, quote, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dode made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. And tonight, President Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, at least they did that, but
yeah,
I mean, that's, come on. Like,
it's like, you don't think,
like, come on, instead of saying like, yeah, this is a tragedy, stuff like that. Oh, it must have been somebody just shooting off their gun in celebration and accidentally hit him. Oh, are you kidding? And
really?
And then he's very divisive. So, that's why this happened. And like, what the fuck would you mean, dude? What the fuck does that mean? Like
you couldn't come up with anything fucking better than maybe some supporter shot him in celebration.
Yeah. Oh, he was
because any fucking,
so
because any fucking smart celebratorial person that knows how to like use a gun fucking celebrate shooting fucking straight instead of straight up at the air.
Right. And that, yeah, maybe that's what it was, because it couldn't be someone that was, against what he had to say. It couldn't have been that. No way.
And like being him being a divisive person, it's like, you could have just said, hey, Charlie Kirk was a controversial, a controversial person to the left.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like I said, we're not seeing the fucking right blow up and destroy cities right now because they understood that this man stood for something greater than fucking the beliefs that he preached about.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a non-religious man. And I have to always put that first and foremost with this situation. It's like, this man believed in the Lord, and that's what it was always about. And I'm not a religious person, and I just have so much respect for somebody that everything was rooted into that, and that's how he lived his life. You gotta have respect for it. You gotta have respect for it, regardless of your feelings. Do people hate me now because they know I'm not a religious person? Fucking okay, whatever. I'm not a bad person. Most people know me as a good person. The crazy, I was telling my wife that I'm like, you know what? With the person that we're dealing with some bullshit right now with, I'm like, you know what? Am I really a bad person? Because you know what? Richard wouldn't invite me in his wedding if I was a bad person.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, after 30 years, I did want to say to you, dude, we were saying earlier, like, it's just kind of shitty that you lose friends over shit like this. And you see how some people you see after like 30 years, like pop off with some stuff. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's this person. Dude, this shit happened to me. What was it? Like a year and a half ago. I think it was like mid elections when the campaign really started blowing up. Somebody that we know very closely had fucking popped off with some shit. And I'm just like, I'm telling you right now, this is between you and I, dude. Everybody else, just close your ears for the next 10 seconds. All right. Everybody don't listen to this.
Don't listen. Cover your ears.
I questioned if I fucking even want to associate with this person after almost the same time as that we've known each other.
Probably the same person I'm thinking of. It was
and I'm like,
earlier.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this, and it's been so hard for me sometimes to be supportive of this person. Cause I'm like, oh my God, this dude's feelings are wild or like maniac. And sometimes I even go further back and I'm like, dude, at one point in our young teenage years, I looked up to this dude at one point and I'm like,
yeah.
A lot of people in high school that I looked up to now, or back then, now that I see him, like, you know what? I fucking rule.
Yeah.
Like I was so wrong. I was so wrong as a teenager. How crazy is that? You guys at fucking your young teenagers right now think you know everything because of the internet? Suck dick.
Guess
oh shit.
Suck it.
Suck it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh
We're
fuck.
probably talking about the same person now that you're talking about it, but yeah, I mean, and it's been like that for since like I was saying since the first Trump election, um, going at it with the same people, and some of them I stopped talking to, and eventually later hit me up, and all of a sudden I get a friend request on fucking Facebook for the same person. Like 2 years later, it's like, okay, you fucking deleted me because you didn't like my opinion. And it's like, if you're gonna do that, that's fine. I'm still gonna be who I am, and I would never go in and delete you because of your opinion. I'm just not going to comment. I'm just not going to say anything nice. I disagree. And so many times I see someone post something and I'm like, I'm going to say something because you're an idiot. And then I just don't. And then I just don't. I'm like, no, I ain't going to start there.
Well, you
Be an
take the
idiot.
higher ground,
Yeah.
because I think people like
Yeah.
us, in a sense, like, you know what, if I do say something negative, I do feel bad about this because I'm kind of like stooping to that level.
Yeah. And I don't want to stoop. I don't want to stoop to that level. I have my opinion. You have yours. And yours is wrong. But I mean, you can be wrong. And the main thing is like, you don't have to be right. That's what you always got to think about. That's one thing I learned a long time ago, just even in like relationships, is like, it's not important to just be right. It's like when you're fighting, you're arguing about things. It's like you can be like, hey, we're not going to end this. This isn't going to win for anybody because you're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change yours. I have my beliefs. You have yours. So you can jump on a post that I make and say a bunch of shit. It's not going to change my mind, you know? And don't ever come on my fucking shit and say what I need to be talking about. Hey, make sure you talk about this. Make sure you talk about that. If you're going to talk about this, don't ever come on my platform and tell me what to talk about. When we do a podcast, it's what we want to talk about. And if we don't, if it's not something that you agree with, then fucking turn it off. Don't listen to it. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about on our platform. I'm going to post what I want to post on my Instagram. It's my shit. If you don't like it, then fine. That's fine. You don't have to like it. Don't listen to it. Scroll past it. That easy. Okay? Don't go on and comment on my shit. Okay? Go comment on someone like, if you don't like Fox News, go comment on their shit. Don't come to your friend's fucking platform and comment. That's bullshit because that's going to make you lose a friend. And that's not what I'm about. Like, I don't care if you don't believe what I believe. I'm not going to lose you as a friend because of it. But if you're going to come on my shit and constantly be divisive about it, I'll say goodbye right now. Because that's where I draw the line. It's not your opinions. It's how you go after my opinions. And that's where I draw the line. Don't come at me. Don't come at me.
And it's not like we're censoring, and what I'm hearing from him, it's not like we're censoring. In effect, like, people could say, well, dude, you unfollow that guy because of what his opinion. No, I unfollowed him because he's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
That anybody,
yeah,
and that anybody that would spew any type of fucking crazy, wild shit on any type of topic, you would have, if you were a reasonable person, would have to sit back and be like, you would have to question, like, is it worth it? Like, and I'm giving you an opinion on a soon to be 44-year-old middle-aged guy that it's like, we've just gone through so much in our entire lives. And I think people from 2000 in the internet era have experienced a lot of shit too, with like 9/11 and everything, and the wars that's happened then too. I think we've all experienced like 2 wars in our young time, at least in our teens, we've experienced 2 wars. Now everybody from the internet era up has experienced 2 wars, but things are different now. Things are way different now. And this is just coming from somebody's, experience from all the craziness and all the changes and stuff. And the way that we are approaching events like this, we're not trying to figure out a solution. And if you really look deep into it, people, with all this comments from the left and the right and stuff like that, people are like, this could be a civil war between the right and left. It doesn't have to be. We're an hour and a half in. We haven't said, let's go fucking riot. It's like, no,
the answer.
It's not. It's truly not. But sitting back and not thinking about shit in depth with this is not the answer, or like avoiding that, the in depth of this situation is not the answer. Like, really, like, I know most of you don't want to hear like, was this person fucking like, a trans person, or this person had mental health, or this person had this and that, was it financial issues with this, blah blah blah. You may not want to hear that, but this is all valid questions to find out. Do I think everybody deserves, to own a gun? Yes, if you have the fucking proper credentials to own one. And if you think that it's okay, if you think that you are a woman and you are a biological man, I have a personal issue with you owning a gun, because I feel personally that your mental state of mind is not fit to handling a gun in any type of situation. I'm sorry. And it may be a controversial thing that I said. And with that guy, with that fucking coach dumbass, maybe I should start walking out with a bulletproof glass around me, because that's what it takes these days. But that's how I feel about gun control. I went through the stages to get my permit and everything. And it's strictly to protect my home. That's all it's for. I remember telling my ex-wife that, or actually, it wasn't my ex-wife, it was an lady friend of mine, that I bought guns. And she's like, I never thought you would ever own a gun. Growing up with you being a really hardcore Democrat back in the day, it's like, really friendly with people. It was all about what I could do for people and shit like that. In a sense, I'm kind of that way now too, but never own a gun. It's like, I'm not going out and just shooting it and be like, look at all the ammo I got and I'm just practicing on my gun. No, it's strictly to protect my family. You guys run to my room if something happens. We fucking lock this door, call the cops, and we use this gun if need be. How crazy is that? You know what?
Concept, huh?
What a fucking concept.
Yeah.
What a concept.
I mean, I'm really not against people like just going out and like having fun shooting. Like, there's a lot of people that like that, but at the end of the day, it's like a gun should be.
But ultimately, what it's used for.
It's used for, yeah. It's like, okay, you're going to use it for hunting, and I don't like to hunt. I would probably never ever hunt in my life. I don't like it, but as long as you're using the meat and you're going to do all that stuff, that's fine. Whatever. But ultimately, I think if you go out and shoot guns for fun, you're practicing stuff like that. Some people like it, it's fine, but I would like to go out and shoot a gun just so I learn how to shoot a gun, because I don't want to.
For sure.
I don't want to like own a gun and then something does happen and I'm just like, bah, bah, bah. I don't know how to fucking use that.
like a cartoon.
I'm just shooting everywhere, and I definitely want to make sure that I'm aiming at my target if there's someone threatening my family, because like I live in an apartment. If I shoot through the wall, I might hit my neighbor. You know what I mean? I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to know how to use that gun. So I think going out and practicing, I do know a lot of people that go out and have fun just shooting. It's not really my thing. Like, I've shot a gun a couple times. I'm like, this is kind of cool, but I don't want to go out and do it all the time. It's not fun for me. It was kind of scary in a way, because I was like, what if something happens? I've never, I shot
it's an interesting hobby.
Yeah, it's an interesting hobby. It's not something that's my thing, but I don't own a gun now, but I do want to. And for that reason, like you said, just for protection. And I do want to conceal carry. I do want to walk around and conceal carry, because you never know what can happen out anywhere. You never know. So I am gonna go through that process pretty soon. And because this the way the world's going, I want to protect my family. I want to protect myself, protect my family. And I'm in Utah, which, everybody has a gun here. So there's open carry here, and you see people.
That's so wild,
dude,
man.
The first time I moved here, I went into a grocery store and a guy had a gun this fucking big on his hip, and he's walking around, and like, I'm used to only seeing cops like that. And this dude just had this is cowboy dude, just big ass gun on his hip. And you see it all the time now. Like, you see everybody's got a gun. A lot of people just have guns. They're walking through the grocery store with a gun on their hip. And it's crazy. I don't want to do that. I do want to conceal carry, where I can just kind of carry a small gun on me just in case. And I agree with all that, because like I said, you gotta protect yourself from the people that are mentally ill, that are going out and trying to harm you. And that's why the Second Amendment is so important. It's to protect ourselves. We got to have something to protect ourselves like that. Because if we don't have that, if it's not legal, then the only people that are gonna have the guns are the people that are gonna use them to harm people, or use them to rob a store or something like that. So it's not, and then you say, oh, let the cops protect you. How long does it take the cops to even get there? Like if you got someone coming at you with a gun and you have one on you, it's over right there.
Sorry, I'm just looking up what states have the concealed carry, access, and it says that 21 require a permit for concealed carry. 29 states allowing permitless carry.
I think that's one of them is Utah.
So, what's really it's funny that you're like, fucking, how come California doesn't have that?
Yeah.
Well, because you know why? Let me answer this. You know why fucking California, Oregon, and Washington doesn't have it? Because Washington, Oregon, and California knows that it has fucking nothing but crazy people.
Exactly.
And that if you give all these fucking lunatics in here fucking access to carry a gun, shit's gonna happen because they're already carrying shit.
They're already carrying. Yeah.
So now you're giving more people access to go fucking nuts. It's like, I totally get that you have to go through a process like permitless. I get it. I totally get it. But here's the thing. When I think about like Oklahoma, when I think about Texas, when I even think about Utah, all these states have something in common. They have a one-way of thinking. Majority of the entire state has a one-track mind way of thinking, and whether you think that's a good thing or not, whatever. But Oklahoma and Texas, I'm assuming, kind of have a good understanding, like, hey, if you're going to fuck around, you're going to find out.
Yeah.
And if you have any decent head on your shoulder, you'll be like, well, you know what? If I do say something out of pocket, someone is potentially carrying. It's like, it does put your P's, P's and Q's on a fucking, on a teeter-totter, But in California, people are just going fucking buck wild with their opinion. And it's like, people that aren't carrying guns and these fucking criminals that are taking guns into fucking whatever situation, into Burger Kings, have an argument with somebody, then they just get let loose. Oh, that's fair. Sweet. You don't want to fight. You just want to just end it like that and run away. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And my opinion is we don't need less guns. We need more guns, because if everybody has a gun, then people are going to start thinking twice.
Yeah.
If you go into
someone's not going to want
Texas,
someone's going to think twice about robbing your house,
Yeah.
knowing that the place is stacked.
Yeah. And when you go into gun-free zones, hey, there's no guns here. Where do you think most of the gun crime is committed? In gun-free zones, because they know there's no guns there. When there's people they know are they might have a weapon, they're going to fuck around and find out, so they don't fuck around. And it's just, that's why I say we need more guns. We need more people with open carry or concealed carry, because you never know if somebody has a gun. If you really think about it, it makes sense. And that's, like I said, that's where my brain goes. I just want shit that's going to make sense, and that makes sense to me. And it's not based on feelings. It's based on just fucking facts. It's based on just common sense, which isn't so common anymore. You really got to have that common sense to really, really think about what's going to happen. If this happens, what will happen? If you fix the mental health crisis, you won't have as much crime. You won't have as much homelessness. You won't have as much drug use. Because why are people doing it? But the biggest problem is everything is about profit. And that's it. So that's why they don't fix this. That's why they don't fix that, because it's all about profit. That's why we have wars, because it's all about profit. That's the biggest problem in the world, is greed. The biggest problem in the world is greed, because everything, if you think about it, every single thing is based on that. It's based on greed. Every problem is based on greed.
Yeah, let's break down all the fucking major cures that these doctors have figured out in the last fucking 50 years. Oh, wait a minute. There's no profit in that.
There's no profit in curing cancer, because it's $1 billion business.
Isn't that crazy that they think that, it's better to keep these people sick because it just keeps our pockets fucking thick.
Yeah. I love how you rhymed that, dude. That was perfect. So, yeah, dude.
But I love you, bud.
I love you, man.
And I'm sorry that we had to have this type of podcast, but I think it's good, because I believe that a lot of Americans feel the same way we do.
I agree.
And they don't have a platform. Like we have a platform, you fucking degenerate fuckers listening to us. No, but like people don't have access like the stuff that we have, or have the courage to voice their opinion, especially after this, and that's another thing. Like, is this going to affect people's way of thinking and of voicing their opinion? Because of the potential ramifications of what they may or may say to offend somebody, may or may not offend. I mean, come on, this is crazy. Oh, I wish everybody the best with their loved ones, with their close friends. Appreciate life because it's so fucking short. I couldn't imagine leaving this planet at 31, 13 years ago, and what I've experienced 13 years since that time. And this man will not be able to do that. And he accomplished far more than I ever could achieve in 10 lifetimes. It's a fucking
one of one,
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a fucking shame. It's a shame.
His opinion. That's it.
So I say this all the time, people. Whenever you question something fucking crazy that make you lose your mind or whatever, say it out loud. Please say it out loud. It's really how dumb it sounds, me saying it, but it really will make things into put things in perspective. Because if that kid or that dude would have been like, you know what, Charlie Kirk on this border thing is fucking kind of crazy, and I should take a gun and take it to the next step. If he said that out loud maybe 5 or 10 times, maybe he probably been like, you know what, this sounds wild. But, when you think about how people think, maybe you're telling somebody 2 plus 2 is 4, and they keep thinking 2 plus 2 is 5. But in their head, that 2 plus 2 is 5 is sure shit. Their 2 plus 2 is 4. Like, they're completely right no matter what you say. And it's wild to think that this is just human nature. But people are that sick in their head that it will take it to this step. So love one another. I love you, bud. By the way, I got your letter in the mail. Nice. I didn't want to post it online to fucking make anybody feel jealous, but guess what? I'll say the one negative thing on this whole podcast. I'm fucking better than all you AV fucks. I got an invitation.
Right, bitches.
Here's the AV shout out of the week. It's me.
He's a groomsman,
because I thought I was shit growing up, and I fucking rule. All right, everybody. Please keep positive and stay classy.
And please understand one thing. No matter what happens in life, you got this.
Peace, y'all. To the next podcast.